All right, so in this video, we were working on retouching. So we started working on this. I would retouch this a little bit more, but at this moment, we've also hit curves and just added some contrast. What I do want to do is brighten up some of these areas that are a little too dark. So I'm going to use levels to do that. So here I'm going to go to layer, adjustment layer, and I'm going to use, brightness and contrast would work. So what I want to do is just brighten up my picture, maybe decrease contrast a little bit. I'm just trying to brighten up parts of the camera down here so that I can see it a little bit better. Might be a little too extreme, might bring it down a little bit. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we are going to actually invert this layer mask. So we click on the layer mask, which is this white thing right here. And when it's white, it's visible. We see the adjustment. But when it's black, it's actually hidden. So what you're going to do is you tap D to get default black and white, and then hit the little arrows to switch it so your foreground color is black. Next, you're going to go to where the gradient tool is and select the paint bucket. And on this layer mask, see how it's selected? You're just going to tap this. It's going to turn it black. So now we can't see that. So now we see no effect. Next, what we're going to do is basically paint white onto the mask. So if you paint white onto the mask, it'll start to brighten up and make that adjustment visible. So you're basically, right now, you don't see anything, but now we're going to be painting it white so it becomes more visible. So I have a paintbrush. I want to make the hardness 0, so it has a soft edge to the brush. The size here, that's probably fine. If it's super small, it'll be more obvious. Like the larger it is, the more fuzzy it gets. And then the opacity of the brush. So I wanted to gradually paint in, make it brighter. So you have to paint over it a bunch of times because I only made it at 16%. But what you'll start to know, oops, it's black. Huh, you gotta switch this to white. There we go. Try again. So what you'll start to notice as it'll gradually get lighter. I'm just gonna use the big area, but then paint specifically on that camera. And you'll notice that you're starting to see a lighter bit here. And if you do before and after, you're gonna start to see the effects of your adjustment. I wanna focus on that camera. I could zoom in a bit. Use spacebar to pan. So now that camera is much brighter. The shadows are a little bit brighter too. I could get back in here. I might use this camera up here as well. I'm just going to keep going, brightening up those dark areas. Go over different parts of this picture. Anything that's a little too dark, I can just brighten up using this adjustment layer. And again, it's very gradual, so you'll see it'll take a little while to lighten it up. But now if we go back, you'll see that it's subtle, but it does enhance the picture. So now if I, zoom out, we'll see it before and after. So I would continue in the dark areas. I'd probably work on this part as well. So that's how to use a layer mask and an adjustment layer to brighten or darken. And you can use this technique with levels, curves, brightness, contrast. Normally I actually use levels or curves to do this one, but know that brightness and contrast is also an option. All right, that is it for using a mask to brighten and darken areas of your picture.